Good morning. It is February, which means it's Black History Month. And I hope everyone comes down to City Hall to see the amazing art exhibit we have on display in the galleries. The exhibit is Barbers and Porters, Pillars of Community, by noted local artist Schroeder Cherry. The exhibit will be on display until February the 28th. This morning, in observation of Black History Month, we will highlight local Black entrepreneurs making a real difference in their communities and complimenting our beautiful art exhibit. Our first honoree is Ray Chambers. Ray is the owner of Mr. Ray's Barbershop, and his barbershop is actually featured in the art exhibit. His shop is one of those safe places where African Americans gather for culture, grooming, community entrepreneurship, debates, politics, and perspective on everyday events. And this is a certificate acknowledging your recognition today. And I'll read it, but I think all of them say exactly the same thing. Certificate of recognition, and on behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, I'm pleased to present this certificate to Ray Chambers in recognition of your outstanding contribution to the community as owner of Mr. Ray's Barbershop. Black History Month allows us the opportunity to reflect upon the influence of African Americans who have helped shape our diverse culture and history, including entrepreneurs such as yourself. On behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, I thank you for the impact your work has had on our neighborhoods, and we wish you many more years of success. February 12th, 2020, Bernard C. Jack, young man. Can I come and get some Beijing?
Yes, you can.
Ready to me, please? Thank you.
Our second honoree is James Al Maddox Jr. Al is one of the owners of Time Printers. Al, along with 5 of his siblings, run the business. Each sibling and co-owner bring unique qualities to the company that allows them to build upon their reputation in the community by combining quality products, quick turnaround, and outstanding service, customer service to our citizens. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr.
This certificate of recognition is given to James Al Maddox Jr., and I just read everything.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Our next honoree is Dominic Davis and Stephen White. Dominic and Stephen are the owners and designers for Different Regard. They started their business in 2008 and opened their first retail store in 2011 in historic Mount Vernon. They have the simple yet lofty mission of providing affordable luxury clothing for everyone. Okay, Dominic?
Yes, sir.
Right here. Stephen? Right, we're gonna come out here. Stand on the side.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you all for what you do. Okay. Our next honoree are actual brothers. Is Carrie? Is it Carrie? Kari and Sean Parker. Kari and Sean are the owners of Connie Chicken and Waffles, and we all have had those here in City Hall. The brothers have 4 locations, with one in the new Broadway Market and even a location in Delaware. The goal of Connie is to give everyone the same loving experience that Connie has provided at her family gatherings for the past few decades. So we want to present them. Connie.
Thank you.
And Sean. Thanks, sir. All right, we're gonna come out this way. Okay, thank you. And our final honoree is our featured artist in the gallery of City Hall, Schroeder Cherry. He is a 2019 Artscape Sondheim finalist and currently teaches museum study at Morgan State University. Cherry's series present significant African American and American history through art. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clear.
Thank you. Any questions on this? Okay. This Friday is Valentine's Day, and we're doing our part here at City Hall to help residents who haven't quite found the perfect gift yet. On Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we will have our Shop Local for Love event down in the Rotunda. It's here at City Hall. I encourage all residents and visitors to stop by, check out our great local vendors who will have their wares and services on display for you. We're all going to spend some money for Valentine's Day, and you might as well support a local business while you do it. I want to sincerely thank all of our vendors who have signed up to participate. This will be a great event and one you don't want to miss. And just a note, 2 of our honorees today will be participating in a Shop Local for Love. That's Connie's Chicken and Waffles in different regard. So please come down and support some of these great businesses. Any questions about the Shop Local for Love event? Commissioner Harrison will provide us with a public safety update, but first I'd like to thank the citizens of Baltimore for stepping up to the plate and for providing information that help us make several arrests related to recent homicides. I asked the people of Baltimore to report what they know to police, and they're doing just that. So I want to thank them again and encourage them to please keep up the good work. And before the commissioner come to the mic, I have a message for the shooters who have no regard for public safety. If you pull that trigger, we will fine you and throw you in jail, and that's a promise. The violence has got to stop.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The level of violence in this city over the weekend and yesterday is again deeply troubling. Our detectives have been working vigorously, canvassing neighborhoods to identify those responsible to hold them accountable. Over the weekend, there were 13 incidents to include 4 homicides. 54-year-old Gary Lamont Watkins has been arrested and charged for murder and attempted murder following an incident on Friday in the 300 block of Mason Court. We also arrested and charged 3 suspects with attempted murder and several recent armed robberies after shots were fired as officers were attempting to stop the vehicle that they were in. On Monday, there were 6 homicides. 3 of these incidents involved domestic relationships where the victim and suspect were intimately known to each other, and all 3 incidents occurred indoors. Officers have made 3 arrests in these cases, including the arrest of 34-year-old Trayvon George from a shooting/murder that occurred in January, 28-year-old Epinetus Henrique in the killing of his roommate from Monday, 30-year-old Kennard Kaniken in the killing of his mother on Monday, and even before the spike in violence, we've had enhanced staffing in areas dealing with the increase in crime. We are working collaboratively with both our state and local partners to include the Maryland State Police, the Maryland Transit Authority Police, our SWAT units, and our K-9 units in our various deployment strategies around the city. I assure you that the men and women of the Baltimore Police Department are doing everything we can to make Baltimore a safer city, but again, we can never do it alone. Every day, our officers continue to demonstrate the sense of urgency and commitment to identify and hold accountable these violent offenders. We continue to see, as the mayor said, an increase in calls from residents who are assisting us and providing us with tips and information that sometimes lead to these arrests. And as always, I would urge anybody with information about any of these crimes to call our homicide unit at 410-396-2100 or Metro Crime Stoppers at 1-866-7-LOCK-UP. Thank you.
Any questions?
How can you reassure people who are afraid of incidents with squeaky kids when even the police aren't safe, as we saw yesterday?
Well, we are making sure that we are engaging those young men who are out there at all of those intersections to make sure, number one, that they are not stepping over the line committing acts of violence. And when that happens, we're taking action, just like we did yesterday. And the officers were actually called to that scene by a citizen, and upon their response, were enforcing the law and attempting to enforce the law when that happened, and were able to make 2 arrests.
Have you seen the body-worn camera video?
I have not, but the leadership team working for the police department did late last night.
Any update on the shooting Monday at the Cherry Hill by the school? We were told that the gun was found on school property. Is that true? We're
still working to get the answers to that, and that is still under investigation. We have promising leads on it that we're following up on.
Has that gun been found?
On the entire investigation, promising leads on the investigation.
Just to follow up with the body-worn camera video, have you been given any information? I think one of the questions is these incidents sometimes it's like what happened first. Are you confident by what you've been told by your command staff that have seen the video that the police in no way provoked something to happen?
I was informed late last night that after downloading hours and hours of video, Our leadership team did watch it, and the officers were there as called to the scene and were advising the young man not to be in the street, and who ignored the officer's commands and who made those commands a second time and those warnings a second time. And upon attempting to issue a citation, he was pulling away from the officer, and that struggle ensued. One of our members was elbowed and one of our members was bit. Thankfully, they're only minor injuries, but they were doing what they were supposed to do and being where they were supposed to be yesterday. I feel confident of that. And the body
These
cam.
weren't kids.
These were not kids. These were adults, and body camera video supports that.
We have residents being assaulted now, officers. When this is an issue we're talking about all the time. When is enough going to be enough?
Well, enough is already enough right now, and it is the culture of violence that we have to change. We will not tolerate anybody assaulting anybody, especially members of our police department who are out there doing our jobs, what the people pay us to do. And so we are enforcing that, making sure that they don't step over the line.
Some people have said to me that they're even afraid to just drive into the city for fear of having incidents like that happen. I mean, what can you say to them to reassure them that they could not be the next victim?
Well, what we can say is that our police officers are following the directive. We are out there. We're engaging the young men. We're enforcing the law when crimes are reported to us about bad acts, and we're always visible in responding to them. And so of all the tens of thousands and perhaps hundreds of thousands of people that come into the city, when you look at the amount of incidents that actually happen, it's relatively very, very, very minor. We would say to them that they should feel comfortable, that our police is very responsive, and we're doing what we can to make them safe, whether they live here or whether they work or visit here.
So are you staking out some of those major intersections where people are going to?
Well, I wouldn't say staking out. We are deploying officers there to engage with the young men to make sure that beyond the act of squeegeeing, they're not committing any other bad acts. But we're working to balance those resources so we're not pulling officers away too much from responding to and patrolling areas to prevent other index crimes that are more serious.
And what are officers being told to say to those people when they do encounter them?
It's about community engagement. Number one, we're working with the Mayor's Office of Youth and Family Services, and in that collaboration, we're actually giving them the information given to us to give to them about job opportunities, about educational opportunities, about resources that are available to them so that they don't have to do that. They can find more productive ways to earn income.
Tisha, can you come up?
Sure. So I just want to thank the police commissioner for his partnership with the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success. We do communicate on a regular basis, and we are both very clear that there are situations where it is absolutely appropriate for the police to be involved and to intervene. But as the police commissioner has said, that there are also many more cases where the young people are involved in these activities and they are not causing harm to others, but it is a nuisance and it is something that the city is working to eradicate. Thus far, we have engaged about 84 young people who have been involved in squeegeeing. 15 of those young people, we have gotten jobs. 34 of those young people, we have re-engaged back in school. And so we have a long-term strategy around supporting young people, removing the barriers to employment, helping them to address personal situations that are driving them to the corner. And so it is not law enforcement alone. Absolutely, there is a time when law enforcement is necessary. We've also partnered with a nonprofit and hired 6 credible mentors. So now we have a total of 8 mentors managing a caseload of young people, and we have 20 men from the community out of the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement who are also providing outreach on those corners. So we have a team of folks beyond the police department who have visibility, who are engaging, encouraging, and redirecting young people off of those corners and into more appropriate support. So since this program launched in September, we have really ramped up our support, our visibility, our engagement, and our partnership to try to provide a comprehensive approach to this particular issue.
And so this is specifically about squeaky kids, like this number of people?
Absolutely. This is between city resources, nonprofit partners, community folks who are who want to be a part of the solution. So we have a cadre of resources that we have begun to deploy to this effort so that the approach can not just be about policing and that it can be comprehensive in nature.
You were seeking
This kind of
support from the
sense-
business community, and when you launched this in September, really to the tune of about $750,000 to $1 million that you wanted to raise. Has the business community offered financial support?
Not as of yet. These are all resources that we have been able to garner through the mayor's office, and the nonprofit community. We are actively meeting with the business community. We had a conference call just a couple of days ago. We think we are close to crystallizing what their support could look like, but we are not in a position to wait. And so we have been very creative about how we can bring some resources to deploy to this in an urgent fashion.
If you had more resources, could you serve more young people?
So I think the challenge, Jane, is one of the things that that has happened with this particular incident. What we are finding is that when there's a police presence at one corner, kids just go somewhere else. They call them pop-ups. And so we have to be able to cover a lot of geography almost 24 hours a day. Our coverage plan is from 9 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, 7 days a week. Our credible mentors have to be on call to young people 24 hours a day. The needs of these kids are very great, and we are always trying to move them out of one lifestyle into another. And so it's a very high-touch process. And so, yes, of course, additional resources would be helpful. But again, we're very grateful to the mayor and his support and the police commissioner in helping us to leverage both agencies' assets to be able to address this issue so that we are not completely reliant on a policing strategy.
We only have time for like one or two more questions, folks.
Someone said that this may indeed be sending the wrong message, though, that if you are a squeegee kid and you come down and you do this, we'll try extra hard to help you find a job.
What's wrong with helping kids?
That you're sending the wrong message to say that it's actually going to bring more kids into squeegeeing because they'll feel like that's how.
So I think that doesn't make sense. So not every kid, squeegeeing is not a good thing to do. There's no, it's a very hard, very rigorous, and demeaning activity. So there is not this sense of the only way that I can get help from the city is if I'm on a corner squeegeeing. We have a Youth Works program where we employ 8,000 young people in jobs. We have nonprofits who are working with kids all across this city. Apprenticeships program. So I think that completely misses the point. We want to help kids no matter where they are in the spectrum. Some of that happens in schools. Some of that happens in our rec centers. Some of that will happen on street corners. And so our goal is to be as robust and comprehensive as possible to meet young people where they are and to give them whatever it is they need in order to reach their full potential. But there are not kids who are saying the only way I can get a job is if I go and show up on North and Gay or whatever the case may be. That just doesn't make sense.
There's a long-term goal to get all squeegee workers off the streets.
The goal is to eradicate squeegeeing in Baltimore. Absolutely. It is inappropriate, it is dangerous, and it is not sustainable. And it is a reflection of the city not doing everything that it could and should do to support children and families. No one should take pride in this type of behavior. So we are all committed to making that, right, to make it a non-issue. Our city can be better than that. And so our work is attacking this on many, many levels, and we always have to remember this has been a part of the culture of Baltimore. It's in many cases, it's multi-generational. So this has been a challenge for our city for a very long time, and I am proud to be with partners who are saying enough is enough. We need to lean in, and we need to be really thoughtful about how we address this issue. And so we're very serious about it, and we're partnering with a lot of folks to find the right solution and the appropriate response to an issue that we all find very disturbing and unacceptable.
All right, thank you guys.